In the world of photography, there's always been this pull, right? You've got the magic of holding a real physical photo in your hand, that instant analog charm. And then you've got the incredible power and freedom of digital. It's kind of like a classic battle of heart versus head. So you're faced with that choice. Do you go for that nostalgic thrill, where every click is a final, one-of-a-kind print? Or do you want the power to shoot 100 photos, tweak them, and perfect your shot before anyone ever lays eyes on it? It's a dilemma every single photo lover has thought about. But what if you didn't actually have to choose? What if a camera could give you that satisfying, real-deal physical photo and all the control of a digital workflow? Well, that's the exact idea behind the camera we're looking at today. So let's meet the Fujifilm Instax Mini Evo. This little camera is what our entire explainer is about today. It's a hybrid, and it's promising nothing short of a revolution for instant photography. And it's all wrapped up in this beautiful, classic design that honestly just makes you want to pick it up and start shooting. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to take a full journey with the Evo. We'll start with what it promises to do, then check out its huge creative toolbox. We'll see how it talks to your phone, then hear what actual owners love and don't love about it. And we'll wrap it all up with some amazing tips from the community. So what is this hybrid promise? It's actually really simple. You get to decide which photos are good enough to become real. See, with a normal instant camera, every time you click the shutter, you're using up film. But the Evo lets you shoot digitally, check your shots on the screen, and this is the absolute game changer, print only the ones you really, truly love. No more wasted film on a shot that was blurry or just bad. But the Evo isn't just about saving you from bad prints. I'd say its biggest selling point is how it lets you get creative before you ever pull that print lever. And it does that by putting a massive creative toolbox right on the camera itself. Fujifilm really built this camera around one really powerful idea: 100 ways of expression. Yeah, that's 100 different creative combos you can cook up for your photos right there in camera before you even think about connecting to a phone or a computer. So how in the world do you get to 100? Well, the math is actually super simple and kind of brilliant. The Evo gives you 10 different lens effects and 10 different film effects. You just multiply 10 by 10 and boom, you've got 100 unique styles for your photos. And the best part might be how you control all these digital filters. Fujifilm put these amazing tactile analog-style dials on the camera. You turn the lens dial, you twist the film dial, and you get this really satisfying old-school clicky feedback. It really is a digital brain controlled by an analog heart. Let's see a couple of these in action. Here's a total classic, the fisheye lens effect. It gives you that fun, distorted look that's just perfect for goofy portraits or getting a unique perspective on things. And then you can get way more artistic with something like color separation. It creates this awesome, dreamy, almost psychedelic vibe by splitting up the color channels. This is where you really start to see just how wide the creative range on this thing is. And of course, you've got the film effects, which can change the entire mood of a shot. This one is the retro film effect. It gives the image that warm, faded, nostalgic feeling. Now imagine combining this with any of those 10 lens effects. You start to see the possibilities, right? Okay, so beyond all the fun you can have on the camera itself, the Evo totally embraces its digital side with smart connectivity. This is where the camera really plugs into the rest of your modern photo life. And getting it all hooked up is about as easy as it gets. It's a simple 3-step process. You grab the Instax Mini Evo app, you pair the camera on your phone with Bluetooth, and that's it. You're ready to unlock a whole bunch of new features. So what does that connection get you? 2 huge things. First, direct print. You can pick literally any photo from your phone's camera roll and send it to the Evo to print out as an Instax photo. It's amazing. Second, remote shooting. You can use your phone as a remote, see a live view of what the camera sees, and snap the picture. Perfect for group shots where you actually want to be in the photo. All right, so the features sound awesome on paper, but what do people who have actually shelled out their own money for the Instax Mini Evo think? Let's get into the real-world verdict. Looking through tons of reviews, one thing comes up over and over and over again. As this one reviewer puts it so well, The number one biggest advantage is being able to choose what you print. It just fundamentally changes how you think about and how much you spend on instant photography. So let's just lay it all out, the good versus the bad, according to users. The pros are pretty clear, that selective printing is a massive win, the 100 effects are super fun, the app control is handy, and people surprisingly love the simple little date stamp function. On the flip side, users mention the high price, the fact that it feels a bit plasticky despite its cool looks, the lack of a touchscreen, and what seems to be the biggest complaint of all, the battery life. Yeah. This is probably the most common and honestly the most significant issue people have. This Reddit user's experience is one you hear a lot. They took about 30 pictures without even printing a single one, and the battery just died. That's a really important thing to know if you're planning a long day of shooting. But you know, the great thing about a camera this popular is that a super passionate community grows around it. And that community has figured out some fantastic workarounds and tips to really get the best out of the Evo. So let's dive into some of that awesome insider knowledge. First off, accessories. The community on Reddit basically says you absolutely need a screen protector for that LCD screen. A lens cap is also a must to protect the glass, and a lot of people are finding really cool 3D printed ones on sites like Etsy. And if you want a case, the consensus seems to be that the cheap, snug silicone cases actually fit way better than the fancier leather-style ones. Okay, now what do you do about that battery? Well, users have figured out the main culprit. It's that big LCD screen. So tip number 1 is to just stop browsing your photos on the camera so much. But the real pro tip, the one that solves everything, just carry a small portable power bank with you. You can top it up on the go, problem solved. And what about that ongoing cost of film, right? Well, one blogger shared a killer tip. You have to buy your film in bulk. They found a huge deal for 120 sheets, which brought the cost per photo all the way down to about 45 cents. If you hunt for deals like that, you can save a ton of money over time. So all of this brings us right back to our original question. The Instax Mini Evo is a really fascinating camera. It gives you incredible creative freedom and that digital safety net of only printing the good stuff. But it comes with some real-world trade-offs, like that battery life and the build quality. So is it the perfect hybrid that truly gives you the best of both worlds? Or is it maybe a master of none, a compromise that doesn't quite perfect either side? Well, the answer to that, I think, is really up to you.